back. We switched phones. Now we're on my phone, Android S9. Shout out.
Yeah.
So, what were we talking about?
Hillary Clinton, Twitter, Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. So Twitter, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Just the thing about Joe Rogan, that's really become a platform of like free thinking in general. I mean, I know Joe Rogan didn't really anticipate that kind of publicity, but it's a huge just
free speech
podcast,
kind of,
yeah, in general. And we got our inspiration from Joe Rogan, not gonna lie. So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Joe, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, he really promotes this kind of platform as well, this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important too, because nowadays people don't have a genuine conversation. A lot of it is just social media, and a lot of it is just
bullshit.
It is. A lot of it is just game.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just fake communication in general.
Yeah. Authenticity has lost its touch.
Right. Like what we're having right now, many people don't really have.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Especially our age.
100%.
Right, and people younger our age.
Yeah.
It honestly makes me sad. It makes me kind of depressed on how just a genuine relationship and conversation nowadays, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be really experienced.
Yeah. 100%. I feel as if people are confined to certain boundaries about what they can talk about and what they can't talk about. And what I mean by that is, when they get into a conversation with someone, it's like they're whoa.
Yeah, people around here, they don't. Very eager. We're on Beach Boulevard right now. It's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah. I feel like when people say, it's almost like I can't open up and talk to you about what I'm really feeling. You know, not saying you. I'm saying in general.
Okay.
In general, I personally can, but most people cannot, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
It's almost like when someone says, "Hey, how are you?" They're like the typical response, "Good, and how are you?" And instead of saying like, I may like, "Oh man, I'm feeling a little down," or "I'm feeling really excited right now," like this thing happened and this thing happened and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Just how to create, like the basic how-tos of conversation are dying.
Yeah.
And I think that's because a lot of people are afraid of what others are going to think of them when they open up and they disclose.
Yeah.
But what can I say?
That is true. So back to the podcast of Jack Dorsey and Joe Rogan. He had another individual, Tim Pool.
Yeah. He's
become a popular figure nowadays.
He was aggressive on the interview.
He is a journalist?
I have no idea if he's a journalist.
He was an aggressive guy in general, because he was giving them all these questions, and he was just
calling them out.
He was calling them out on all these things, these different details, and all these facts, and what they're doing.
Yeah.
In real time.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a justice and kind of a pandering,
right,
to individuals who really want to stick it to Twitter in general. I mean, the other platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and even other platforms, Instagram, Snapchat, Patreon. Yeah. A lot of people nowadays would argue that they have their own secret agenda where they're kind of pandering to leftist views. But I think in reality what they're truly doing is they're trying to cover their backs. They're trying to cover their revenue, and they're trying to keep their shareholders happy and stable.
Yeah.
Because they're a company as well, and they want to, be competitive and gain revenue over time. But it's difficult because this political spectrum and this platform nowadays, it's all outrage, it's all cancel culture, it's all very riveting type of dynamic we got. And so people have actually made careers on this type of political spectrum, this political outrage. It's crazy. People talking about politics and their opinions, and how we have a lot of progressive movements going out. What are your idea on the progressive movements in general? Let's get into that.
The progressive movement.
So like Me Too. What else is another progressive movement? LGBT, lesbians, feminists, What else? Trans.
Right. Generally speaking, I mean, I'm indifferent to it, really. I'm just like, I don't really care, dude. Like, you do you. You know, I get there's certain people that are not going to look at you in a favorable light because you're trans or because you're, you know, this or that or whatever. But I don't try to look to society and blame society as the problem.
Okay.
If I have any particular problem myself, the first place I look at is myself. And I'm not saying you need to like change yourself and, you know, because you're trans or whatever. I'm saying try to, the perspective I would come from is like, okay, what are you going to do about it? You're going to try to change society? Society is this massive thing that is, it takes time to change, you know? And sure, you can, you know, put your points of view out there, but the best thing if I were you guys, I would do is kind of, I don't want to say accept it, but just be indifferent to it. Learn to like not care about that stuff and just live your own life.
Yeah.
You know, and that advice goes for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to care if someone like looks at you like a little weird or whatever? As long as your rights are not violated, it's like, what else is there, you know?
There's a lot of talk about too that there's rights that need to be given to the individual in general.
Yeah.
As if more rights is going to fix every kind of polarity in today's political spectrum, political platform. And Jordan Peterson's also very against that.
Yeah.
Where it's not about giving people rights and giving them their, I guess, their due in general. It's about taking responsibility and really, you know, figuring out what needs to be fixed and how to get your house in order. But a lot of people nowadays, activists, they don't even have their own house in order, but they go out and they try to change the world. So they try to, you know, fix the White House, or they try to fix the hierarchy, that try to destroy the patriarchy, and they make everyone else miserable in the process. But their justification is, well, we have to have some loss, I guess, in order to win. I don't know what their strategy is, what their agenda is particular, but I stopped caring.
Me too.
I mean,
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too.
We should create our own little Me Too movement. Who stopped caring about Me Too?
Damn. Little savage there. All right. See how it is. I stopped caring around, you know, to be honest, when Donald Trump became president. Yeah, I said, all right, no one's serious now. This guy is president.
Oh, man, it's chaos everywhere.
And it's the sad truth, to be honest, because I was very pressured when it came to election time. I think I was 18 or 19 when I voted, and I was bombarded by a bunch of perspectives and Hillary Clinton being a crook, or
Crooked Hillary.
Crooked Hillary, yeah, that was the motto. And make America great again, right? That was the whole idea. And you know, Trump was all about business. You know, he's never been in politics ever. He has all these businesses that are successful. You know, he's such a rich guy. He knows what corporate America is like, and he's gonna fix the economy. And to a lot of people nowadays who are struggling and who can't even afford an unexpected expense of $500, that's very attractive.
Yes. No, I can completely understand why, you know.
That makes a total sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Because even my dad was like that. He said through the Clinton days and how Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, she was never the most admired political figure. I mean, her husband cheated on her.
Yeah.
In general, so there was a lot of publicity behind that.
Yeah.
So, just in general, Joe Rogan was talking about the Clintons in general, how they are just sneaky individuals.
Yeah.
They're so politically inclined, and they're so politically. That was a cop.
Yeah.
They're so politically savvy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that in the White House and Congress in general. People nowadays are so politically active, like they know names and they know what's going on because of Trump.
because of Trump. I agree.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, it's almost as if because Donald Trump has called so much attention to himself and to politics, we had the biggest voter turnout in 2016.
I know.
People are talking about politics so much more nowadays than they used to because of the attention that Trump has been calling to it. And it's like, the way to get that is all the negative attention. It's not even the positive attention. It was like, oh my God, did you hear what Trump said? Or do you know the things that he's saying?
There was a lot of that.
And it's like, so people get curious and they start to look towards the news and what he's saying.
Yeah.
And they get involved in politics because they want to fit in with the crowd and they want to get bonus social points for being politically active. Mm-hmm. So
social points. Yep.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Then the bright side of all of this is that people are more involved in politics, and that has actually opened up the eyes of so many people who blindly followed this leftist agenda from, especially in states like California where they grew up. I personally am an example of this. I'm sure you are too.
Right, yeah.
Where in school, all we learned about was, all this stuff like, oh, there's racism and sexism. Not even denying that exists.
A lot of the institutions are corrupt.
Yes.
The police are corrupt. The firemen, the academics, the economy. Yeah, everything's corrupt.
Instead of, and they looked at those organizations or those groups of people as groups instead of individual identities.
Right.
And we were taught this as people growing up in the state of California under this, education system.
Yeah.
And I did not question it at all because I'm like, hey, it's school. School knows what's correct. Like, they know what to teach me. I'm sure they know what they're talking about.
That was the idea. Do you want to make it right here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was the idea, yeah. That mentality, it's very attractive when you're a young individual.
Yeah.
In today's culture as well, because it's a very beneficial route to take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So a lot of celebrities are taking that route of a lot of leftist identity politics in general.
Yeah.
So what I mean by beneficial, beneficial in terms of gaining social status and gaining a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
In general.
And attention.
Yeah. A lot of companies play it nowadays. Starbucks.
Yeah.
Chipotle. I'm out of names. Twitter.
Let's say guys like Jesse Smollett, for example, right?
Okay.
Literally will go to the ends of, so far, enough to create a hoax just to get that attention.
Yeah.
And it's not even on the big level, it's on the small level too. We're talking like high schoolers will get themselves involved in this kind of stuff because they're trying to show how modern they are, how open-minded they are, how progressive they are.
Yeah.
But I would say, and I would argue, in order to do any logical approach to a situation, it's not only about progression and changing the system, it's also about keeping what's good about the system.
Yeah.
So there's striking a balance between this whole liberal and conservative, these ideologies, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Looking at each thing individually and saying, okay, this thing works, this thing doesn't. So the thing that doesn't work needs to change.
Yeah.
Well, why doesn't it work? Well, we need to analyze it on multiple levels. There's so many different, it's so complex, every issue. And then you can't even get everyone to agree on the issues, and then, politics is a whole different game in and of itself.
Yeah.
It's got its own truth. So.
It does. So we're here. It's going to be on your right. Do you want to keep going on Pacific Coast Highway, or?
Sure. I've actually, there's a bunch of bars around this area.
Yeah. So maybe we can go down Pacific Coast and come back.
Sure.
And then, because we're barely 30, 40 minutes in.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, remember, we have the footage from here, too.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, including that.
Oh, including
that.
Yeah. Okay.
When we talk, we can end up in random places.
I know. Jeez.
This is what it's like. Yeah. We're like this off camera, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not like a show or anything. It's just, we just talk genuinely. Just say what's on our minds.
Yep.
So you've been here before, right?
I have.
Yeah.
In fact, I've come here multiple times recently, too.
Oh, yeah. Nice place. We're in Huntington Beach, by the way. We're near the pier.
Yep.
Very rich area.
Yeah.
A lot of people with tans walking by.
Yeah.
So it's around summertime.
Man, all these white people.
All these white people.
Race doesn't matter,
all
man.
these beautiful people.
Beautiful people. Yeah.
Apparently race does matter when it comes to academia. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
So adversity points. That's a real thing that's coming up. Laura Chen. A lot of name dropping here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of his favorite newscasters. What is she called?
Yeah, she calls herself the roaming millennial.
The roaming millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's I think she's conservative. Yeah, I say she's conservative.
Yeah, mildly conservative.
Yeah.
She was talking about a recent story that popped up on the SATs where they've added another point beneficiary category. It's called adversity points, where they're going to judge you on your race, your ethnicity, your background.
What?
I think that's what she was trying to get by. I didn't really research into it. I just watched the video.
Yeah.
But fact checked me. Always fact checked us.
All right.
So
adversity or diversity?
Adversity.
Oh, because of the adversities that you would have to go through as your race.
I believe so.
It's just not good, man, because you're getting rid of this meritocracy, and on top of that, you're saying that specific races can't make it without getting a lower threshold or standard of being set to.
Yeah, and speaking as a Hispanic guy, I guess I'll bring that into the play. Mm-hmm. When it came to like SATs, tests, that shouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't at all. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to convey or what they're trying to get by with this type of new category.
No.
But I think even when it comes to affirmative action, in today's academic world, they're trying to even the diversity, right? They're trying to make everything equal. They're trying to make everything more morale.
Yeah.
Or more moral. Yeah. So,
equality of opportunity.
I mean, you went to UCLA. Do you know what it was like, to be honest, when it came to affirmative action and that whole thing?
Multiple things. I'll tell you from the affirmative action perspective. I hate to say this, but I think there's a lot of stupid people at UCLA also.
Okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Not gonna
just like that in every university.
Just like at any university. Correct. Yeah. I feel like there's this whole name with UCLA that's like, oh wow, you go there, you like everyone there is like a genius. That's not true.
That's not true.
Not at all true.
No.
I have met plenty of people who are airheaded there. Now, I'm not suggesting that people are not vetting these people into the university at a properly. Mm-hmm. What I am suggesting though is that it's not fair. I'll give you the example of my friend. One of my friends was an all-star in high school. He was Indian.
Cool.
Which there's no separate category of Indian from Asian, so we have to any Indians have to put Asian on there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we count as Asian basically, and so that's minus points because
that is minus points. Yeah.
It's like what
the heck, man?
We have enough whites and Asians, in our universities, so we can't. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
My friend, he was, and I mean this goes for me too, but my friend, like the degree to which this happened to him was even greater, right?
Sure.
He was an all-star in high school. He had 200 plus hours of volunteering at a hospital. He took 11 AP classes, got a 2280 out of 2400 on his SATs.
Why not?
Almost a perfect score, right? What else? He was president of one club, vice president of a different club. On varsity soccer, he was on ASB, which is our student government, for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And he did an internship in Malaysia in the summertime of his junior year. And he's got a great GPA. It was weighted. It was like a 4 point. It was over a 4.0 for sure. Weighted.
Seems set. Yeah.
Guy was a freaking genius. I mean, I hate to say this. I hope he doesn't. He's not gonna watch this.
Who's gonna watch this? Who's gonna watch us?
He is very, very leftist himself.
Like to the end of the bell curve?
Almost to the end of the bell curve.
Okay.
I'm talking like he is like the police officer.
The police officer?
Of the left.
Wow.
He is, and the main reason is because he was a very, very socially liked guy in high school. He was extremely popular.
Interesting. Okay.
And it was actually from him that I learned to open up so much and talk like without giving a crap.
Cool.
And like, learn how to make friends like this, But this guy, he wants to be, and he really desires to be the leader of this movement, this great morality, fueled movement.
Yeah.
Anyways, point being, I feel like he didn't understand this, but that he actually got waitlisted to Berkeley and UCLA. Berkeley was his dream school. Because, I mean, we're assuming it's because of that, and we see other people that are getting in at a much lower standard, and we're like, are you serious right now? Like, that doesn't, how does that even make sense? This guy's like, he's an all-star. Like, he's like one of the best candidates you can possibly have. And he got waitlisted, and then he got rejected.
Oh, wow.
I got rejected. I didn't even get waitlisted. And I really wanted to go there. And I was like, fuck this, like, I'm going to make this happen. So I went to community college and whatnot. But
yeah.
Affirmative action, not a good thing, man. Not a good thing, in my opinion. It's unfair. It's unfair for some people.
Well, a lot of people disagree with us on this, because when it comes to affirmative action, it gives a lot of students, like, out of country, I believe, a chance.
Yeah.
To actually experience that type of American college life and to get that beneficial academic lifestyle, the knowledge.
Yeah. They also pay a hell of a lot more money.
That is true. That little behind the scenes action right there. So how much do you know the numbers? How much they pay?
I'll give you an example. One of my roommates, he was from Washington. He wasn't even out of country. I think out of country pays even more, but out of state, he was out of state,
they
right?
still pay a lot more. Yeah.
He paid $50,000 per year. Per year.
In tuition.
In everything. Board, room, tuition, everything,
wow.
Right? That's $200,000 for his whole undergraduate career. Whereas I, for example, and the same major. He's the same major, same race too. He was Indian, and my type of Indian too. He was Gujarati.
Okay.
But I paid about $20,000 per year that I was at UCLA. Took out $9,000 total in loans. We just paid, over time. We didn't really take out too many loans. But point being, it was $40,000 my total 2 years at UCLA.
Sure.
I paid less in my entire UCLA thing, my entire college career, in fact, if you include Mount SAC, than this guy did in 1 year. He paid $50,000 per year. I paid $40,000 for my entire thing.
Dear Lord.
And here's the most screwed up part is I think universities use that money to benefit their school, to make their school look prettier by buying big things and fancy construction projects because they want to attract more applications.
Right.
As if UCLA already is the number one applied to school in the world.
Why not? Yeah.
Like, you want more because, and I'll give you the perfect example. They spent $1.8 million on this table.
Yeah.
In one of the study halls, and it's
story.
like $1.8 million, dude. You know how much you could have like fed people who were not able to afford their meal plans. You could have lowered the tuition prices for students instead of buying this fancy like wooden table that just looks nice.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe an alumni. Well, that could be an alumni donating that money, and they had to use that money for that particular thing. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that particular example, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the case. I remember someone was talking about it too, about how they were like, dude, like, what the hell are you doing? But anyways, yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, academia nowadays, it's become so, I don't want to say infected, corrupt, but it's become definitely something different.
I think
it's about the name, it's about the label, it's about like, where'd you go? Oh, I went to Berkeley. Oh, damn, this guy's smart. I better back off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that mentality.
What's crazy is I don't think people will really think about the fact that university can be corrupt at the multiple levels that it's established at, right?
Yeah.
It's still run by people, and people can be corrupt, right? You can't just assume that. I don't know, dude.
I mean, that same mentality can go towards any kind of institution in general.
Exactly.
So not only in academia, but also in Congress, also in different types of economic businesses. You mentioned your local elementary school. So
yeah,
there is that level of the bigger an institution gets, the probability of more corruption would increase.
Yeah.
I guess that statistic would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that old principle. I don't know if it applies here, but the Matthew principle, my name. The ones who have everything, more will be given, but the ones who have nothing, more will be taken.
Yeah.
So the idea there is that the more you succeed, the probability of you succeeding more increases, while if you fail, the more you fail, the probability of you failing will increase.
Yeah.
So
It's a positive feedback loop and negative
feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to institutions like UCLA and academia, the more successful they become, I guess the more probability of being corrupt.
Yeah. The correlation is
correlation.
positive,
Yeah. So it's interesting to think about. Where do you think academia will be like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Do you think they'll be regulated, or do you think?
I think they will.
Okay.
I think they will. Depends on how the politics of the country go. But I will tell you this: if Andrew Yang gets elected,
if he gets elected, that's going to be a huge shift or a huge change.
100%. And I remember he said in one of the interviews that what was he going to say? He was going to change education somehow. He's saying education, you're assuming that education is the way of the future. And one of the questions asked was, why are you different from Bernie Sanders if you want to just give money back to people by way of government control?
Yeah, his universal basic income, yeah.
And he says, well, it's not, Bernie assumes education is the future is the future.
Yeah.
I'm not assuming that, because in fact, if you look at it, less and less people are getting jobs out of college. They're having a harder time getting jobs. I think it's about 50% of college graduates actually get jobs now.
Really?
Yeah, that's literally. It depends on the major that you go into. Like if it's like gender studies, right? Like the odds of you getting a job are a lot lower.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're an engineer, I'm sure you're more likely to get a job. You know.
Yeah.
Something that's actually applicable.
Something that's actually more in demand in the market.
100%. Exactly. Yeah. That's how it's basic economics.
Yeah. Basic economics.
But now, people are not getting jobs right away. Obviously, because companies are starting to utilize artificial intelligence and everything like that now. But
the demand for that type of software skill is much higher nowadays.
Yes, and so the idea is that Andrew Yang wants to dismantle the corruption within the universities, and he's saying, like, why are you guys charging apparently so much more to these university students, and the quality of the education has not increased that much? Where is this price justified? Where is it coming from? Are you doing it just to put money in your own pockets? There are so many easy ways for people don't realize this. When you're in a position of power like that, when you're like, let's say, the dean of the school, there are so many subliminal ways that you can steal money and stuff like that. And
there are a little more sneaky ways, yeah.
So many sneaky ways. People don't realize that. Like, you have to be a lawyer to have like experience of corruption and fighting lawsuits that are similar, I guess, to really understand the depth of corruption that can take place.
Yeah.
But just because you're at a university and you're the dean of the school, for example, doesn't mean you're the most morally uprighteous person, even if that's the facade that you put on.
Yeah.
So it's possible, it's very possible that, all this money that's coming in, they're finding ways to funnel it back into their own pockets. I had a friend, Ronnie, we had him on as a guest.
Yeah.
He works for some, I forgot where he works, but it was for some government institution that actually pays out money to
folk schools?
It's like a social program, something like that. And he said that there's a certain amount, there was corruption there. 100% there was
100%.
corruption in that. He said that there was a certain amount of money that was given out. I think it was $6,000 as a as like a voucher or whatever. $1,000 of that $1,000 have to be spent on like textbooks and whatever, and the rest can be yours to spend on whatever.
Interesting.
Now, those people, what do they spend that money on? A lot of the times it's not even education. I know one person who, even at Mount Sac, sometimes some kids, like, they get money to spend.
That is true. I did notice a lot of that, where they get financial aid packages, or they would get that refund, or the reward.
Yeah, they would get money.
They would get money, right, from the FAFSA or the BOG. That's what I did. And they wouldn't spend it on education. They would just pocket it. They would possibly drop out of the classes they were in, but at least they had some money in their pocket.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of people taking advantage of the system in general when it comes to government funding academia.
Yes.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. It really is a real problem.
Yeah. So how do you get rid of that is the question.
How do you do?
How do you reestablish academia or the university system as something that's beneficial?
How do you do? That's a real question.
People didn't, used to go to universities to get jobs. Universities were there for education.
Back in the day.
Harvard, when it was first established, was for education, not for getting a job. If you wanted to get a job, you go to like a trade school or some sort of you learn some sort of skill.
Like apprentice type of relationship, That doesn't exist nowadays anymore. Like even the high school I went to, that's got to be like one of the historic old schools that were still standing today. Because the high school I went to was a private trade school. Okay, so Bosco Tech. It was established back in the 1950s, and it was a trade school for high school kids, basically, for young kids. So they had a bunch of shops, and they would teach you applicable skills to be used in industry.
Right.
So it was a direct line to the workforce.
Okay.
So back in the day, that's what they really operated on, and they still do to this day.
Right.
But schools like that, they don't exist anymore. It's really sad. A lot of high schools nowadays, they don't teach kids what they need to know. They don't teach them banking. They don't teach them anything about cars. My dad, back in the day, they said it was mandatory for you to actually drive a car. They actually gave lessons. For you to actually practice and get your license. So there's none of that anymore. There's nothing about finance classes. There's nothing about just basic needs that you would like to have when you go into on your own, when you go into the workforce. Nowadays, high schools really emphasize AP classes. They really emphasize SAT scores, ACT scores. They really emphasize you need to get into Berkeley, you need to get into the high labeled colleges.
Yes.
In some cases, that really does work if you want to become a high profession.
Yes.
Field category. So like doctors, lawyers, engineers. But the average normal American nowadays, quoting Andrew Yang's book, The War on No More People, the average American has not graduated college. The average American has finished high school, and the average American is working like 1 to 2 to 3 jobs just to get by. And believe it or not, America is consisted of a lot of cities. It's not just Los Angeles. It's not just New York. It's not just Chicago. It's not just San Francisco. There's a lot of people living in other areas. And I would know because I go to Merced. There's a lot of people living in just open land. There's that average guy who's a farmer or who works as a trucker, just in general. Works for the family, tries to get things done.
And there's so many different states too, if you really think about it. It's not like Florida, Texas, California, New York, Washington.
Yep.
I feel like those are the main states, right? Maybe Virginia, maybe Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But besides that, there are so many states. West Virginia, Alabama.
There are states like that. Yeah, Alabama recently. Did you hear what they did?
With the abortion?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it on the previous podcast.
Oh, we did? Okay.
That was like half the podcast.
Well, people are so mad.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to the feed like, abortion. How could you violate a woman's body? Yep. I'll say it right now. I'm glad I'm not a girl. I'm glad I'm not a woman.
Me too.
Because it's so much complications in respect to, all the laws and everything in your own body.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, when it comes to knowledge about their own selves, their own body, women know more about their own body than men know about their own body.
I would say, probably. For the most part, I would say.
For the most part.
Unless you're like an athlete, like an athletic guy or something. What do you mean by about their body?
So they know a lot of the names of their reproductive system. They know a lot of their like organs in general, like how they feel, what they can deductively reason out, like what the problem is. So they're much more knowledgeable in that sense.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah. Crazy to know. What were we talking about?
What were we talking about?
I don't know.
We were all over the place. Education.
Just in general.
States?
States in general. I mean, we grew up in Southern California.
Yeah.
Right. So we grew up in a very high economic revenue type of area.
Yeah.
So we don't live directly in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But we live in a very, I say, richer area.
Sure. Yeah.
Where we're not too far from the beach. We're not too far from Los Angeles. So we're kind of like in the middle.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've been driving down the freeway, so you can see a lot of just activity in general. People going to work, a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
This side of the state is so busy.
Yeah.
Every day, every night. I mean, we have cargo ships out in the shore right here.
Yeah.
Constantly bringing in merchandise from China, from other countries.
This is a beautiful area, by the way.
It is a beautiful area, yeah. Very nice area. Houses here go for $1 million, easy.
Oh yeah.
Easy. Real estate in Southern California is crazy.
100%. It's such a in-demand place to live.
Yeah.
I think LA itself has like a population of around 10 million.
10 million, all compact into like such a confined space.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Everyone wants to be here.
Yeah.
It's La La Land. It's where dreams come true, I guess. It's got Hollywood. It's got a bunch of Universal or a bunch of studios. A lot of entertainment companies are here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, real estate prices are so low in certain areas. If you go to like Montana, I'm sure you can buy a house for like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's because the population of those states is so low, and like those areas are just not occupied.
That's true.
I wonder what it's like out there, to be honest.
Well, the population of the city I'm going to college in is 80,000.
Okay.
So real estate is not that cheap, or it's not that expensive.
Okay.
So you could buy a house easily for like 60, 70,000.
Wow.
And they're constantly building new houses.
Yeah.
But here, that's like the down payment.
Yeah, here it's like exactly.
for a house you want to buy. And then you gotta go get a mortgage and then.
Oh Lord, that's funny.
It's crazy, yeah. Like my parents' house, the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
They bought it. I forgot how much they bought it for, but it's now worth $500,000.
Okay.
And that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure yours is worth more, but
yeah.
It's crazy. Throughout the years, houses are increasing in value.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all due to the 2008 real estate
the bubble and everything.
Yeah.
Let's get into that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I don't remember a lot about it.
So I've studied this stuff. You know, I've had to write essays on it and stuff like that. And I've had to study like economic cycles and crashes and everything. So
sure.
It's a very interesting concept, right?
Yeah.
We're probably in for an economic crash coming soon. We just don't know exactly when.
Like a recession, that's what they tell us.
Yeah, and anybody's telling you, oh, it's going to happen, you know, at this point in time, they're trying to sell you something, man.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to they have some sort of agenda, most likely.
Yeah.
People with information like that will not reveal it to you right away.
Sure.
So it's kind of like investing in the stock market. Like if somebody tells you, oh, here's the hot tip, you should get this or that. Most likely it's not going to work out that way, because it usually, to win in the stock market, the key is to have information, more information than other people have, right? About the company, where it's headed, what the direction of the company and whatever. So when it comes to the economy, real estate had been increased from Bill Clinton's presidency, actually. Starting at Bill Clinton's presidency.
Sure.
He wanted to give affordable housing to middle-class America and the lower classes as well. So one of the ways that he did that was by giving out very, very low down payment options.
Sure.
And it was low down payment options, and what else was it? Low interest rates. No, not low interest rates. It was low down payment options, I'm pretty sure. I forgot the exact way.
I think it was low down,
yeah.
That initial start for a lot of low income families.
Yeah. So, anyways, a bunch of people ended up getting loans that they realistically could not afford to pay back on a month-by-month basis.
Yeah.
Right? Those mortgages, those loans that are used to purchase houses, they're called mortgages. So, and there's so many different types of mortgages, right? But the idea was that every time, okay, let's break this down real quick. Okay, so you have big investment banks, right?
Gotcha.
Then you have commercial banks.
Yep.
Commercial banks generate loans and
Cool.
mortgages.
Yep.
And they package these loans up into bundles, and then they sell these bundles at a fee to investment banks.
Cool.
And investment banks, they cash in on the monthly payments of mortgages that come in every month from those people who took out those mortgages, those loans to purchase houses, right? So if I am a commercial bank, and if I get paid a fee for selling a package of loans to a big investment bank, my job is to generate as much income. Remember, I'm a profit maximizing institution.
Yep.
So my job is to give out as many loans as I can. It doesn't matter how qualified the buyer is to have this loan.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give out any of these loans. And people, obviously, I blame both sides. I don't blame just, the big banks and stuff. It's also the people, because people need to be more financially in tune with what they can actually afford and what they can't afford.
They didn't really check their finances.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, they're getting something too, yeah.
100%. So, big banks, obviously, they were corrupt. They wanted to generate as many loans as they could, so they just gave out loans to people who were not qualified at a very low down payment, very low interest rate, very low whatever. And they packaged these up into mortgage-backed securities. That's what they're called, MBS. Commercial mortgage-backed securities, CMBS. So they would sell these packages to big investment banks. Now, investment banks would also package them up into different, what are called tranches, these packages, meaning they would categorize these bundles of loans by their risk profile.
Sure.
Meaning, how risky is it that this loan is going to not be paid back?
Okay.
Like, this one is going to default on their mortgage.
Right.
So the highest risk ones were set up into the lowest tranches, and the safest MBS or mortgage-backed securities were categorized. Wow, this is a beautiful view.
Yep.
Were categorized into the lowest, right? Anyway, so they would package these up, and they would sell it off also to other investors, big investors and whatever. So now, all these investors, they never really understood the real risk that they were getting themselves into, because credit rating agencies like Moody's, Standard & Poor, Fitch, they were at competition with one another.
Yeah.
Banks would tell them, hey, if you don't give me a good rating on these, I'm going to take it to your competitor.
Right.
So they were pressured into giving these false ratings on the risk profile for these things, and so investors bought these commercial mortgage-backed securities and mortgage-backed securities based on a false risk profile.
Yeah.
And because of that, they had no idea what they were getting themselves into, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, slowly, mortgages started to default. People couldn't pay them back. And it's like, wait, what happened? Like, these investors were freaking out. They're like, I paid for this. Why am I not getting my loans? These things are defaulting, and they were defaulting all over the country.
Yeah.
Because they were not good loans. People could not pay them back based on the money that they were making.
False ratings, and
people were just, the banks were just giving out loans like nothing.
Yeah.
It was a bullshit, I guess thing. Nowadays, it's much more secure because they actually require documentation. They require a bigger down payment. They actually look into your history. They look into your credit ratings. Things of that nature.
It's not as easy anymore.
Yeah, and that to some people is bad, but it's a good thing for the economy because it's actually a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
So there was a huge inflation or a bubble in the real estate market. Yeah, and then it popped. When it popped, and a bunch of people started defaulting.
Yep.
Person holding. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say who declared bankruptcy first? In terms
I think it was Bear Stearns.
Bear Stearns or
AIG.
AIG. Okay.
One of those two: AIG, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers. Oh no, maybe it was Lehman Brothers.
I think it was Lehman Brothers. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was waiting for that name.
Yeah. one of those, and it was bad. It was bad. And those are the people who actually held the loans, and they oh man.
I know, to hear that your own bank went it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
It's like, what?
What about all those loans I had? The
Yeah.
interest rates.
They were so over leveraged. Like they had so the way that it works is banks will typically, they have something called a reserve ratio,
Sure.
which the Federal Reserve sets. Okay, I'm gonna park it somewhere nearby, and then we can just finish up.
Yeah, go ahead and pass. There's going to be a parking structure underneath the Pacific City.
Okay.
So go ahead and pass all this.
Okay. Just let me know when it comes up.
Cool.
So, the Federal Reserve sets something called a reserve ratio, meaning every single bank has to at least keep all the reserves that they get, all the people coming in and saying, hey, I want to deposit money into my bank account.
Sure.
Or I want to keep this cash in this account, in this bank. All the cash that they get, they have to keep a certain percentage of that cash in their bank. They cannot loan out that money to other people for borrowing.
Is it fixed?
Sorry, what?
Is it fixed? Like,
It's it typically moves up and down because,
Sure.
well, it's fixed until the Federal Reserve changes it.
Cool.
So, what is this? Oh,
We'll protest about abortion right there.
yeah.
So what's going on today? So you were saying.
That's what we're talking about, guys.
That's what we were talking about.
Female empowerment.
Go ahead and make a left into here, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not against like female empowerment or anything. It's just, it's getting a little bit too far
I
nowadays.
think it becomes a problem when it gets in your face.
Yeah,
And then
I
they
know.
start like hassling you on what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll make my own decision.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not like against it or anything, but
Yeah.
yeah. But did you want to finish your ratio?
Just quick. Yeah. Let me just finish the quick ratio.
Okay.
So these banks were they're forced to keep a certain amount in their bank. Then what they do is, with the rest of the money that they pool all together from the people putting the money into the bank, that money gets taken out, and for people who apply for loans, they take that money and they give that money to them, which they use to purchase a house, for example, or purchase a car.
Yeah, they can afford that down payment as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what happens when that money gets loaned out to a person who is not financially responsible and cannot pay that money back? They default on that loan. And typically what happens is the bank is supposed to keep a certain ratio in their bank, in their reserves, so that if anyone comes to their bank and asks them, hey, you remember that money that I put into your bank account like last month?
Yeah.
Can I get that money back? Right?
Right.
The bank has to tell them yes. The bank is not allowed to say, no, we don't have your money.
That is true.
Right?
They cannot say that.
They can't, unless
money
it's
always
bankrupt.
On demand, yeah.
Exactly. So what happens? Where are they going to get the cash from? They have to have a certain reserve ratio. So that's set by the Fed. The federal funds rate and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That is true, yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's another topic for another day, how banks make money.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Yeah, they do
We
a lot
should
of
get into
investments. They don't really just keep your money in the vault, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they do a whole agenda.
Yeah,
Go ahead and make a right
progression.
into here.
Oh,
Sorry.
my bad. Right here?
Yeah, right here. And then we're gonna go a little bit down. So we arrived here. We'll walk around a bit, find a place to eat.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Go ahead and go straight.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this is our first run.
Yes.
On our own Drive With Us edition.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go straight. We should have made a right into there, actually.
Okay, yeah, this is valet.
That's valet. That's for this restaurant here.
Okay, I'll just make a U-turn.
Yeah, go ahead and make a U-turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
do you want to stop it right now?
yeah, we can stop it right now.
So, thanks for joining in.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, more to come.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right, we're back. We're going to try this again.
Cool.
So we're back at headquarters. We just looked over the videos and the quality was not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Just when we drive on the freeway, the camera shakes, the
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff.
A lot of vibration, and then the audio was terrible as well.
Yeah.
So we have this kind of setting where it's just the car sitting still, or we're like moving very slowly.
100%.
This
Let's
is the best.
try it out.
Yeah.
More content.
Yeah. So another episode coming your way. We'll probably do 2. So we did 2 today.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Pumped out a lot of content for one day.
I know, right? Such a productive day.
Yeah. I mean, you're tired already. Why is that?
Yeah, so I had not much to eat today, and then all of a sudden I ate a bunch of food.
Yeah.
And my body just reacts like it just all the energy goes towards digestion, and my energy drops typically.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why that is, because maybe you just need a lot of energy to digest in general.
Possibly. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
But energy, man. Energy. Let's talk about that, yeah?
Yeah. Low
energy consumption. So, I feel like, well, here's the thing, right? We were listening to this book called Sapiens, this audiobook. And energy consumption for the body is actually very important.
Yeah.
Even for evolution, even for our evolution, and for any animals and evolution towards any path that it's going down.
Sure.
So, if a specific animal has a bigger brain, it's most of its energy will go towards the maintenance and development of that organ. So what they say is that chimpanzees, typically a lot of the energy goes towards maintaining musculature. Basically, their muscles don't atrophy. Mm-hmm. Humans, on the other hand, their muscles have atrophied a lot more in our past because we had a lot of the energy go towards our neural development.
Yeah.
So we may not be as strong as the chimpanzee who can rip us in half,
sure.
but we are way smarter. So in the short term, we suffered for that in our evolutionary past. But in the long term, look at us now. Uh-huh. We got cars, we got guns, we got airplanes, which they don't.
Right.
Unless we live on Planet of the Apes.
So, we won. What is trying to say?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, connecting it back to energy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own, I guess, fuel for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess so.
It depends how you take care of yourself and what you eat, and I guess to the extent how physically active you are.
Yeah.
Because my sister's like that. She's very low energy, just low fuel overall. I mean, she'll take naps that are like 5 hours long, and then she'll wake up for 2 hours, then she'll go to sleep. So it's freaking nuts. I don't know how people can do that.
Yeah.
And I know my dad, who hardly sleeps at all, but he's always working, always energized. So, you know, people, I guess it's a lack of self-care, to be honest, on a scale from around the world.
Yeah.
Especially in the first world culture and environment.
Right.
Because, you know, people have so much opportunity to indulge in all this impulsive pleasure. So you got a lot of fast food. You got a lot of unhealthy drinks like caffeine, Starbucks at every corner. Especially down here in Southern California. Sorry.
Yeah, Southern California.
Also in Northern California, San Francisco. So in that area, yeah, energy. I think what you can do to boost your energy, especially for guys, is to get more testosterone in general.
Yeah.
So, you know, eating certain foods, for you that's kind of difficult because you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's hard to get protein. It's hard to get, I guess, higher testosterone levels in general.
Possibly.
But yeah, you plan to get shredded, like beefed up, don't you?
Yeah, so I don't see me being vegetarian or Indian. Whoa.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, I don't see the whole Indian or vegetarian thing as an excuse for me to not at least work on my body to achieve whatever genetic potential I have.
Sure.
So that's why I have certain habits that I've gotten into to optimize testosterone, to optimize my diet and my calories and macronutrients and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The best thing for testosterone production, from what I've heard, is the basics like sleep, proper dieting. You want to have a balance of macronutrients, especially fats, healthy saturated fats. In particular, they contain cholesterol, which is a precursor to testosterone production. Testosterone is produced in your testicles. Testes testosterone,
Whoa.
That's the whole.
Hold up.
That's the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh crap! We're on the freeway again.
We are on the freeway. I was just about to tell you that. Let's get on Valley Boulevard. He's an autopilot. Don't worry about it.
I'm thinking about testosterone, man.
Yeah, I mean, testosterone's, genetically it's different, right?
Yes.
You can't deny it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the race card here.
Yeah.
We can agree that most African Americans have a high level of testosterone.
That's been proven actually in studies.
It has? Okay.
Yeah, on average 19% higher than white people, and then white people have, I don't know what percentage higher, but they have it higher than Asians. I mean, those are the only 3 categories that were compared in that study.
Yeah.
But that also leads to higher chances of, what kind of cancer is it?
Prostate cancer?
Prostate cancer, yes. Which has been shown to be higher in African Americans. But I mean, look at a lot of athletic people.
Yeah, most of the major leagues are made of just African Americans. Football, NBA.
They look at weights and they get jacked.
I know, right?
So
that's
it's
how
like
jacked they are. It's crazy.
Yeah.
People are jealous here and there.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like a disadvantage. It's like, oh, you're genetically made for this. That's no fair.
Oh, that was a close car.
It was a close car. A little too out right there.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I could do professional sports. Could you?
No, probably not. Maybe tennis.
Maybe tennis?
But not like basketball or football, I'll tell you that. Or even hockey or anything like... No, I don't think so. Not like in the NFL or anything like that. Possibly college, but even that would be really difficult, and I would have to dedicate my whole life to that,
Yeah.
So...
I mean, some college kids do, to be honest, and they're really used by the system. So, they get free tuition and everything, but the amount of work that they're expected to do is off the charts. They're pretty much slaves to all these university sports teams. And then the universities that make so much money off of these guys and these kids. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, from what I know, so they pay for all these kids to go to their school.
Sure.
But they also get the opportunity to be drafted into the NBA or whatever, NFL. But college sports are a big thing too. They're all events that
they're huge.
These kids go to. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I was gonna go straight back onto the freeway. Autopilot, man. What can I say?
So, they have a potential. I think most of them join them.
Yeah.
To be honest, that way. The main reason to get a chance at the major leagues. So a lot of college football guys, they want to get into the NFL, basketball, NBA. For baseball, MLB, it's a slim chance. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Because even so, you're going to get just abused in general, physically, financially. It's just not the best route.
Yeah.
So
some people, I guess that you can't reason with them. Some people are like, that's my fucking destiny, man. Like,
yeah,
I got to do it. And kudos to you if you're like that, and if you're gonna make it. But if you're not gonna make it, have a backup plan.
Yeah, that's the testosterone speaking. To be honest.
Yeah.
It's just a level of confidence that's just over their head. They're going in too deep. So it's not a route I would suggest.
Yeah.
To be honest. And the viewers probably like, what do these guys know? They're not sports inclined. Screw you.
Yeah.
Do you? Just be careful though, because when it comes to certain sports like football, that's nothing but brain damage.
Right.
Just in general.
Right.
The amount of contact you do in that kind of sport, it will just mess you up.
Yeah.
Overall. It's crazy how many people get physical injuries from that type of sport. Even in college too. They're brutal. But it's a huge sport in America.
Play some flag football. Keep it safe.
Where are the major leagues for the flag football?
I know.
How about that? Yeah, I would not let my son do football.
Yeah, I
If
probably
had
wouldn't
one.
either for mine.
Like Major League Football. But like, all right,
Yeah.
maybe we'll rethink something here.
Yeah, sports for sure. Like, go for it, but it depends on which sport. I mean, like you said, I agree, man. I agree.
Well,
Joe Rogan talks about that a lot.
He does talk a lot. He talks about everything physical in general.
Yeah.
He's very much like a masculine alpha guy.
Yeah.
Talks about apes a lot and chimps. Not enough. So
Yeah.
you don't do a lot of sports in general.
No. I tried tennis at one point. Was not into it. I fucking hated it. My dad tried to force me to get into it. I never found a passion for that.
Uh-huh.
Sports was just never my thing until, but I love competition. I love competition. In fact, I'll thrive in competition because I have this fucking thing with me where besides sports, out of the realm of sports, if it's any other competition, I would love it. I would love it. Just not sports, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you so competitive? What's wrong?
I don't know. It's nothing
What's up with
wrong.
that, bro?
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's a fantastic thing.
Sure,
yeah. It's just part of my personality. I think my dad's. It's partially the way that I was raised and the way my dad always would tell me. He's like, you know what, like you have to be a competitive person, and it's partially just in me because that's how kind of my dad is too. Even when it comes to like money making in business, like he has competition. He runs a small business, right? Like
Sure.
his own little business. And he competes with other businesses of a similar type. He's in the jewelry industry in downtown LA, and there's a bunch of other Indian people in that industry as well. And he usually competes with these people. And he's super competitive when it comes to making money. He's just like, nope, I'm gonna make the most money. Like that's it. And whether it's important or not, it's up to you personally. Some people, they don't think making money is an important thing or the most important thing. For him, it was a combination of providing for his family the opportunities that he never had, and also just competition. And it kept him going, right? Like that's his purpose and his mission in life, which we all need a meaning or purpose, and we all need our own meaning and purpose. So he found his, and I guess it's just that competition, and I just saw him being like that too, I just yeah.
Maybe it's genetic.
It's possible, very, very possible it's genetic.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Competitive genetics.
Yeah.
Who knows? Try to research that, folks.
I know, right?
Well, it makes me wonder how we met in general and how we got so along. I'm not that competitive in that respect, especially when it comes to different fields. I could care less about ranks and titles. As you can tell, I'm not very expressive with my type of, succeeds or
Right.
just accomplishments.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
But it could be a good thing. And honestly, it
Right.
is a good thing.
I think it just depends on your personality and
That's true.
what works best for you, you know?
That is true, yeah.
For some people, I think that's what keeps them going, that competition. It's like, that's what they wake up for. That's what they go to sleep in. That's kind of just what makes them happy, I guess,
Yeah, whatever keeps you going.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of institutions nowadays, they promote that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
So you have academia in terms of test scores and applications and how you stand out. You got to be competitive in that respect. There's also, economic field for banking, like even sales. You got to be super competitive
Right.
for that kind of job. And I guess America and capitalism, they thrive on that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
It's all about being competitive, how you can beat your competitor, how you can be the best and provide the best quality product. So it's about having the market provide for the people.
Yes, I agree.
And to touch on politics for just a bit, we said we weren't going to go into it too much.
Sure, no, that's no problem.
But
Go into it.
Andrew Yang, he talks about how the market is really dictating the people in a sense, where it has like automation and all these technological advancements, and they're really changing the field for a lot of people, where it should be the people changing the field of the market.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an unfair relationship between the individual and the market.
Right.
And we talked about this before in terms of automation and the technology. I don't know if that part of the episode will be caught.
Right.
But there's a big change going on in the respect of self-driving cars and a lot of AI taking over a lot of low-wage jobs in terms of software and technological advancement. So there's going to be a lot of low-paying jobs going to be taken away from individuals.
Yeah.
So truckers, janitors, maybe even bus drivers, who knows? So in the coming future, like in the next few decades, there's going to be a big change in respect to that.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. It's funny, I remember on Joe Rogan, he said by 2030, 82% of all jobs paying less than $20 an hour are going to be gone. 82%. That's the vast majority, right?
That is the vast majority, yeah.
To automation, essentially, they're going to be gone. So I even told one of my friends, I have a trucker friend, actually. I met him through a mutual friend that I met at an event, a Jason Capital event. And we met together a couple months ago, all of us, to just get together and to talk about our goals, our vision, our purpose, whatever it is, And one of the guys there is a trucker, and he wants to change his lifestyle, and we're all helping him. And I was like, dude, I told him about this. I was like, do you know about the whole automation wave that's coming, and your job might be gone within the next 11 years?
Did you break it to him?
And I guess he was
what?
He was like, I heard something about that, and I was like, okay, cool. I mean, just as long as you do something about it, that's good,
I don't really know what that feels like, to be honest, because when your job is at stake like that, if you don't have a backup plan in general, it's very scary for a lot of Americans.
All right.
Because when it comes to having a job, that's like the ultimate meaningful resource that a person would have. So, it's very difficult for especially older individuals, like in their 40s or their 50s, to find another field of application in terms of working.
They actually, there was an economist named Joseph Schumpeter, and Schumpeter talked about what the engine of capitalism really is, and he coined a term called creative destruction. And every single time we go through a process of creative destruction, we break down what the current technology is, or whatever is fueling our economy, and we reinvent with something new, and we keep progressing forward. But every time we go through a massive period of progression, like the first industrial revolution, people suffer also at the same time. But that's why it's called creative destruction. You're going to create something new, but you have to destroy what's the old. And when you destroy the old, you have to fire people. You got to have people go through this transition phase and all that sort of stuff. So
it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You got to give something, and you got to take something, in a sense. That's kind of depressing. It really is.
I know.
The whole market is, forever changing, and especially becomes very difficult to understand when it comes to all the technological advancements.
Right.
Because you have Silicon Valley always coming out with these different inventions and devices and softwares that can help companies to improve. So, Google had their own thing going on with self-driving cars, and I think they have their own division in respect to that, and it's still going strong. Tesla's going on with their own technological advancements.
Right.
It's crazy. I mean, just look at what Amazon did to a lot of retail stores. They completely knocked them out of business.
30%, I think, are gone now.
And our overlords, Amazon, they're pretty much going to take over a lot of markets. I mean, we order from them every day. Like we just ordered this phone stand from Amazon.
I ordered this. I ordered this microphone from Amazon.
Yeah. We got this car now.
Imagine.
So it's Jeff Bezos really is taking money from everyone's pockets.
Yeah.
And we have no problem with it because it's such on-demand products.
Yeah.
And no one's complaining.
Right.
I mean, you got Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping.
Any product, pretty much. Almost any product.
Imagine that. On-demand, just gratification.
Seriously, you don't even have to leave your home.
You don't.
Sometimes it comes in one day.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's free.
One day.
Free shipping, man.
That's right. Yeah, that's crazy.
How great, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah. Whoever thought we'd reach this point.
I know, man. I know.
Ouch. Yeah. A lot of businesses really taking a hard one there.
Oh, seriously. Seriously.
I mean, not only did Netflix take out Blockbuster and Hollywood Videos, but you have Amazon, you have companies like Amazon taking out Sears, Macy's soon.
Yeah.
You know, these companies have been around since like the 1950s, early 1960s.
Right. Sears was the first like analytical, not analytical, what am I saying? The first
catalog type of.
Yes, catalog mail type of service that they provided.
Yeah.
So it was very.
Well, they pioneered that whole field in general.
Yeah.
They would provide catalog on their merchandise, on their products, like every week or something like that. Like what's on sale, what's hot, and send them to every residential home.
Yeah. But
now people have access to the internet and they can just look up what's hot or what's fresh.
Yeah.
I'm such a hippie guy. To get to what to buy, and you know, the whole idea of paper communication now is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Like if you have a neighbor reading the newspaper, it's like an antique.
Yeah.
Or it's like a historical moment. It's like, oh, he's reading the paper. What the heck? He's reading words on a piece of paper.
I know.
That's crazy, because so many things are now digitalized.
Seriously.
You got the news, you got online shopping, social media.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's so digital. I mean, even in the middle of nowhere where I go to school, there's kids on their phones constantly.
Yeah.
On the bus, they whip out the phone. They're on social media. They're plugged in.
They're plugged in, man.
It is
the whole matrix.
It's that level of matrix style, I suppose.
There's pluses and minuses to technology, right? I think it makes things a little too easy at times where your brain kind of just shuts off. You don't really have to think too much about what you're up to or what you're doing. Technology is just taking care of a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not going to get any easier, or it's not going to get any better, because technology, especially with AI coming about, and you know, I'm sure they're going to utilize that technology in phones and everything like that soon. So that is only going to make things even easier for human functioning and operations, you know?
Yeah.
So again, you don't really have to think so much. It's like tech will do all the work for you.
That's another thing. The amount of cognitive ability has decreased over time. So, you know, there's that verb, Google it. We're always doing that nowadays. Like even in class, we're like, oh, I don't know, just Google it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what's the constant for speed of light? I don't know, just Google it. It's crazy.
I know, right?
So that amount of information always accessible at the tip of your fingers. It does change just people in general.
Yeah.
Because anybody can be like their own expert now.
And I don't think we even evolved for this type of information.
It's too much.
It's so much everywhere. It's like bombarding us with advertisements, TV, content, information, just in general, like knowledge.
Yeah.
How do you implement it all? You know, like you have to like.
It's crazy.
Like go.
It's just so much at one time. Even YouTube, there's so many channels out there that provide so many content.
Yeah.
There's like a certain category for everybody.
Right.
There's like makeup. There's unboxing videos. Those get a lot of views.
Oh yeah.
You know, car videos. There's crazy stunt videos. Like anybody can be entertained at any time.
Right.
And it's blowing my mind. It really is. I think we're the last generation to actually compare ourselves to this level of information.
Yeah.
And how it's so crazy, because we grew up with a lot of analog devices. So like VCRs, a lot of like cellular phones, like flip phones.
Right.
I still remember the revolving phone. That was like an antique. Right now it's like obsolete. It's like a dinosaur.
Right.
Did you want to go into Costco?
Sure.
I feel like Costco for some reason. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how just the amount of information, the amount of digital, how that's taken over.
Right.
And I think this newer generation, they're never going to realize what it was like to not have an iPhone. Like I see kids like 5 years old with an iPhone walking around, iPhone 10. I'm like, what the hell?
I didn't have an iPhone until like the 11th grade.
I didn't have one until I graduated from high school. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's, to have that much information at that time. It's unthinkable. Yeah.
Seriously.
These kids, like, they become so savvy at a young age, and technology is such a part of their lives.
Right.
Like they never know what it was like to like go to the library and look up like a definition, or like to open up a dictionary.
Or to like rent
a movie.
movies even. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that stuff.
It's like renting movies is like you just pay a few bucks and
yeah,
you got it on your phone right there.
I know.
Any movie.
Any movie. It's so on demand. We live in a culture now. It's on demand.
Yeah.
Everything's on demand.
Right. Which I like also, because it's like now we don't have to actually look too hard for the information. We don't have to. I guess we're always kept busy with something. We don't have to ever get bored. But there's also a positive side to the boredom, because if you're bored, you're just sitting there. You're also practicing presence of mind, and you're also practicing this whole just taking in your environment. Your brain is relaxed. You're not just being bombarded consistently with different content, essentially.
Okay.
So I think there's pluses and minuses to it all. I just think it comes down to because we live in a free country, your personal control over, how much of the electronic devices that you use.
Sure.
And how relaxed you are as a person.
Sure.
I think it's important to be very chill sometimes and take some time to like meditate or do something,
Very chill.
Yeah. Reduce the stress.
That is true. I mean, it can be stressful with the amount of, I guess, not social media, the amount of on-internet time you're doing.
Right.
So you could, and I've read a couple of articles on this, how people can like overdose on the amount of internet usage they use, or
What?
they do. Yeah, like in Japan, that's a big problem. Like there's like an addiction sometimes where individuals just can't stop surfing the web, or they can't stop using their device.
Right.
Like they're always doing something on social media, or they're playing video games, or they're doing something, online shopping. It's crazy. They live online, and most people, sad truth, they can't live without the internet.
Yeah.
But do you want to get some real quick?
Sure.
And we can come back and just talk and
Sure.
continue the episode.
Sure.
All right.
Take a quick break.
Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Jump cut right now.
Monday.
Oh, yeah?
Which is today's Tuesday, so 6 days from now.
6 days from now, live. Is it going to be good? I don't think it's going to be good.
I have no idea, man. Oh, you're already recording.
I'm already recording, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Yeah, I know. To be honest, I don't really know. I don't feel like it's going to be as good as the original, which is typically the case. You know which movie I'm really excited for?
Yeah.
The Lion King.
You know what?
Wow.
You constantly talk about The Lion King, and I've never heard anybody or anyone more excited about this movie than you are.
It was my childhood favorite movie.
Yeah.
It's just, I would just play that thing on rewind and rewind and rewind.
Mm-hmm.
Just my kind of movie, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I've watched the trailer like a solid 5 times. I've listened to the trailer music. Hans Zimmer is a great composer, by the way.
Oh yeah, great music.
Yeah.
He did the music for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates. Yeah. He's done it for so many, the Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
So many different movies.
So many.
He's an icon. Interstellar. Inception.
Yep.
All these big movies, man.
Yep.
You see his name pop up like the most, That's what he lives for. It's like cinematic music, so.
Yeah.
He really gets the style of each particular movie down, There's a specific theme that the movie's going for.
Mm-hmm.
He just knows how to do it.
That is true talent right there.
Yeah.
Jeez, he must be a millionaire by now.
Oh, easily.
Easily. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So the Aladdin one, I don't think it's going to be as good as the original. But you know what I was thinking is, seeing the animation, seeing the visual effects it's become stunning nowadays. It's so realistic. You know, have you seen the trailer for The Lion King or no?
Yeah, I have.
I think, and I really think that particular movie looks amazing on screen so far. And what I mean by that is that it looks so realistic. It's not like they're talking, obviously. That talking part may not be so realistic, but just the animals and the way that they're moving around, and like how do you use the software to engineer those animals to move and do the things that you want them to do?
It does look very realistic. And when I see those kind of trailers, I just see Disney just banking on a lot of money they're going to make. They're reusing a lot of their ideas, and they're just making it, alive.
Yeah.
People are going to see it. They are.
100%.
No doubt.
It's funny because Jordan Peterson was talking about how to get any movie correct and to make it a big hit, you have to follow these archetypal stories like man versus nature, good versus evil, the balance between yin and yang, and you have to have a certain amount of positive and a certain amount of negative in the movie. And for example, let's talk about The Lion King.
Yep.
We have one king who is the righteous king, and we talk about like masculinity and like the whole king, warrior, magician, lover, right? If we have that pyramid, we need a balanced king, right?
Yep.
You can't have a king who's a tyrant on one end, but you can't have a king who's a weakling on the other end. So you need a balanced king, right? And Scar is a tyrant.
Sure.
And he's just not the rightful king. He wants to be king just for his own power's sake, but he doesn't understand the responsibility that comes with ruling. Simba, on the other hand,
Let's make it right into
is
it.
meant to be the king, and it's just he has a hard time taking responsibility for that, because it is a huge responsibility. But I think that's what the message behind the movie is that you have to take up that responsibility that you were meant to take up. Like, that's your destiny, sort of.
Right.
And you just have to go head first into it and deal with your past and good, morals and storylines.
You just like the movie.
I love the
That's
movie.
what I heard.
Oh yeah. I really love the movie.
I do agree. Yes.
Yeah.
It is a very archetypal, go straight, type of movie that really, it appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone can understand it.
Yeah.
The conflict's there. Straightforward.
100%.
So, my question for Disney really is, are they just gonna remake every movie they've made?
I think so, dude. Because look, so far they've done Beauty and the Beast.
Yep.
They're going to do Mulan. It's already almost done with production.
Yep.
They're planning on doing The Little Mermaid in like 2021 or 2020.
Okay.
They did Aladdin this year. They did The Lion King this year. They've already done a couple. They did one more, The Jungle Book.
Oh yeah.
The same creator of The Jungle Book, I think the same director is doing The Lion King.
Sure.
I mean, it just makes sense, right? The animals and all that, But, dude, I think they're just looking to remake the classic Renaissance period. They went through a Renaissance period, right? That the 1990s was their Renaissance, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that whole period just was a great collection of movies like Hercules, Tarzan, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast.
We can park somewhere here.
Okay. So those types of movies, and people fell in love with those particular movies, especially the millennials, people who
grew up with the Disney movies back
exactly
when they were animated.
100%. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good move on their part.
yeah,
I mean, they've got you in the theaters, so you're going to see them.
moneymaker, man.
Money.
They know how
No
to
one
make
cares.
money, man.
Yeah, it's just they really dominate the movie
market
in general.
Yeah.
They have Marvel, they have Star Wars. Now they just Disney movies are remaking them.
Seriously,
Smart move.
Yeah, the most productive, or not productive, but the most
revenue. Movies.
profitable
Yep.
movies. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, they're going to continue to dominate unless someone really goes against them. I don't think anybody will, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't even think, as long as they keep doing good and making these great movies,
Yeah.
power to them, They're providing the marketplace with really great movies, and I think they deserve to get rewarded.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel was a big hit. We just ended the last Avengers movie, right?
Yeah.
The Endgame.
Endgame.
That was a good movie. I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Spoilers ahead if we're going to talk about it.
Well, it's been out for like a couple of weeks now, so
Yeah.
I've seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah. Most people would have by now.
Yeah. It's made a lot more. It's made more money than Titanic, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it at? Let's look it up, actually. Where
look
is
it
it
up.
at in the box office?
I know it hasn't passed Avatar.
Okay. Hasn't.
No. That's number one.
What did you think about Tony Stark's death, by the way? Did we talk about this?
Yeah, I don't think we did, actually.
Okay.
It wasn't too emotional. I thought it would be a lot more cinematic, but it wasn't too surprising, to be honest.
Okay.
What did surprise me was Natalia's death.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Black Widow.
Yeah.
Whoa, she died?
Yeah. It is at $2.6 billion right now.
Wow.
Avatar, I think a total was at $2.9 billion.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, let me double check that one.
I didn't realize how big of a movie it was until I saw the opening weekend revenue. Was it like $1 billion?
It was $1.2 billion.
Opening weekend. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
1.2 billion, dude.
That is so much money.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I think they spent, let's see how much they spent.
Like 500 million? 600?
Let me go to IMDb. IMDb like simplifies everything.
I'm gonna munch on a churro right now. Oh.
Everybody watch him.
Oh.
Got an 8.8 on IMDb. Cool, let's see. So, okay. Budget was $356 million. Yeah, they spent that much money to make it. It's a 3-hour movie and $2.6 billion worldwide right now. Opening weekend was... Oh, that's U.S. only. Yeah, it is $1.2 billion over...
In the U.S. or worldwide?
No, worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah, U.S. it was $357 million.
Okay.
Yeah. My favorite character was Iron Man, and he died, and I teared up at that part. And I don't normally just cry for bullshit reasons, you know? But this one was a little bit sad because I'm like, this guy has been somewhat of an idol. No,
he's an idol.
Past like 2-3 years, you know? So...
You don't adore him. You don't.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
I think what makes him so attractive is he's such a good actor.
He's such a great actor.
He's such a great actor. He dominates that role.
100%.
He really is Tony Stark.
Yes.
And his level of professional just acting is way beyond most actors I've seen.
Yes.
I mean, he's up there with like Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
And Humphrey Bogart, one of the old actors.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's so good. And I think it's also just the fact of like the way it's his character also, you know? He's just such a chill guy. I don't know, obviously he's got issues, right? Like we see his internal issues throughout the movie and everything, but it seems almost like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's like very little affects him. You know, I like that specifically about him.
I think he dominates the frame, and he's a really good individual who he knows how to play the role as if it were himself.
Yeah.
So he's always in character. And what makes him so, I guess, such a master at that type of acting role is, you know, he can see himself in that character.
100%.
So he's sarcastic, he's charming, he's lovable, he's charismatic.
Yeah.
He's like a role model.
Yeah.
And I think they showed that type of role model status when they had him interact with the character Spider-Man. So he became the father figure.
Yeah.
And
he actually had a kid.
Right. Yeah, and he actually had a kid. So, and I think some scenes in that movie that were really important is when he interacted with his dad.
Oh my God, that
scene.
was a great scene.
Yeah,
that was a great scene.
He played it like so chill, but at the same time he was nervous.
Yeah,
and I think that level of acting was like just
perfect.
It was awesome.
Yeah, 100%. To pull that off, right? Like,
And then he hugged him at the end.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, whoa.
The guy's like, do I know you? And it's like, yeah, the kid that's about to be born, that's me. Damn, man, that's
Yeah, it was a good callback.
Yeah.
It was a good callback for every single Avengers, every single character's backstory.
Yeah, 100%.
It was really good.
So when I was scrolling through Instagram a few weeks ago, and you know how Instagram sends you ads every now and then nowadays?
Nowadays, yeah.
So I found an ad for sunglasses like Tony Stark's.
Sure.
And here they are. This is literally the same, like, literally, this is the one apparently that he had, something similar, I'm assuming. It's not the exact same, but, like, that's what they sold it as. And I was like, you know what? They were $30, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get these. I like them. I need a new pair of sunglasses anyways. I don't even like the ones that I currently have, so.
Sure. Yeah.
It reminds me Tony Stark.
Gotta represent.
Gotta represent.
That
man.
merch, yeah.
Gotta get the merch. If you're a true fan.
Go for it, yeah. I bought a poster of Jordan Peterson.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. It's at my apartment.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Sure.
You know about...
Same poster?
Yeah, go ahead and
okay.
unlock the phone. I was going to look it up. You know about Akira the Don on YouTube? He makes all these like lo-fi playlists based on like Jordan Peterson's speeches and
No,
Joe
what?
Rogan's. You don't?
No.
I'm pretty sure I've shown you this.
Wait, lo-fi speeches?
Yeah, like lo-fi type of hip-hop mixes.
No.
But they're mixed in with Jordan Peterson's lectures.
Dude, no.
Really?
I have no idea. You
I'm
did
pretty
not send
sure-
me these.
Yeah. It's called JBP Wave.
Okay.
JBP Wave. There we go. And I bought this poster. I think it was like $25.
Okay.
Where this was like an album he made. It's like 40 minutes long, I think.
Oh, wow.
But this was the picture that I...
Oh,
Yeah, it was a good
nice.
poster, yeah. I was like, this guy.
Oh, my God. What a gangster.
I know, right? But yeah, I guess a shout out to Akira the Don on YouTube.
And Jordan Peterson.
And Jordan Peterson, of course. He actually spoke with Jordan Peterson on his podcast. Yeah. And they had a small conversation, and Jordan Peterson really thanked him on his work, on what he did with his speeches. Mm-hmm. And it's really unique kind of music, because he really synchronizes a lot of the beats with the speeches that Jordan Peterson gives. Motivational at the same time. It's it's very attractive music.
Right. Okay.
That's cool. Yeah. But
They had something like that for Jason Capital. One guy made like a mix of one of his like things. Yeah. It wasn't a hit or anything like that, but obviously because Jason Capital doesn't have a big following. But
Yeah, Jason Capital. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him a lot during this podcast. You usually do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been listening to his talks for a while now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's done the big deal of the damage already on me. So
Okay.
I feel like I've already soaked in the majority of what he's talked about, and I just have to keep practicing it.
He's given you a lot of influence in general.
Oh, big time.
Because you would constantly mention, the message he's trying to get across.
Yeah.
And, like, you went to his conferences, right? His summits?
Yeah,
Or something?
yeah.
How many have you gone to?
So I've been to 2 of the summits and 1 other fan appreciation seminar.
Okay.
The fan appreciation seminar was cheap. It was $25. The other one was $97 each.
Okay.
Totally worth it. 100% worth it.
What were those like? They were like a conference style...
They were good. Especially, I liked the fan appreciation seminar. That was the first time I saw him. And oh my Lord, normally I don't experience the whole like...
Did you fangirl out?
Like fangirl out. I fangirled so hard. I was there, sitting there like literally just like a few feet away, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like this aura that he just emits. Obviously, like I'm just fangirling, but Jesus, like to see someone like that I've been following for like the past at least 2 to 3 years in person, like I don't want to say religiously, but I've been following pretty much everything that he's talked about, because I love his message, So to see someone like that in person, and to have him like call you out, ask you questions, and like talk to you about all this stuff, it's just fantastic. It is fantastic. And at the end of the event, I went up to him and I talked to him, and I was like, Like, dude, I just have to tell you, you've had the biggest impact that anybody could have had on my
shaking?
life. Oh, a little bit, slightly, yeah. And he was like, you know what he told me? He was like, dude, none of that was me. It was all you.
Aww.
I just helped you, like, along the way, but it was all you who made it happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, oh God, what a guy, man.
What a dude.
What a guy.
Yeah.
But he's done his influence, and I think I just have to keep practicing what it is. And you know how I feel. Everybody, I feel, needs, especially at a younger age, some sort of role model / support / faith-based
like a mentor?
mentor or mental model of the world to help guide them. Because life is inevitably going to be so harsh that you need something to keep you steady and stable. And for a lot of people, that's like, for example, religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
They believe in God, like God is with us, right? It doesn't matter what happens our way, God has meant it to be this way.
Sure.
So that helps them get through the day, helps them get through, the suffering. And Jordan Peterson has the same message, or a similar message, and that's how he's getting it across to so many people. That's why they call him the father figure, right? Like, of the new age father figure, I guess.
Yeah.
There's that. And then, for me, that guy was Jason Capital. Oh my Lord. Similar message to Jordan Peterson. Very similar, but it's almost like to the extreme. It's like, you are greatness. You have to just keep doing it. Like, here's to, how to stop caring what other people think. Not necessarily only the motivational aspect of it, but like the practical side of it also.
Sure.
Like how to actually implement that, Yeah. That's what I loved about it. And just his personality, He's so what I think someone needs to be like him is extreme certainty and level of trust in himself or herself.
Yeah.
So when someone carries themselves with this aura of extreme certainty, extreme trust in themselves, they automatically, magnetically draw people into them and their world because of that, essentially their passion, their certainty, and whatever.
Oh yeah.
That is the essence of charisma. And if we talk about it, dude, like it's a similar effect of Donald Trump. Like, so many people hate him, but so many people, like, they freaking love him. If you go to his rallies, you'll see people raving for him, And it's because the guy just doesn't budge. He doesn't move. He's so strong on his position, and he doesn't care who comes his way. He's like, you're wrong. It's this way, and that's it. And that certainty is what draws so many people in, because it's like, this guy must know something that we don't. Therefore, we should basically follow him.
Yeah, the level of confidence it really projects that type of alpha mentality.
100%.
Good thing.
Yeah.
And Jason Capital, I had that vibe when I first saw him.
Yeah.
When you first introduced me to him.
Yeah.
And you were the one who introduced a lot of individuals to me, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Through the, what was it? The
Kathy Newman interview,
yeah. On Channel 4, I think.
Yeah.
So there was Jordan Peterson, Jason Capital, and I think Joe Rogan. Did you?
Yeah, I think so. Abraham was the one who introduced me to that, one of our mutual friends.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know, maybe I did.
Yeah.
Because I watched a few of Jordan Peterson's interviews with Joe Rogan, and I think I might have shared one of them or two of them with you.
I know you shared me Ben Shapiro.
Okay. Oh, Ben Shapiro? Okay.
Yeah, you showed me him.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Just a lot of individuals who are, they're role models. I would say they are.
Right.
They are rational thinkers.
Yes.
In our perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes to logic and just, deep thinking and conversations, we think of those individuals.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that kind of, like you said, figure in your life, because life overall, you're going to be bombarded with a bunch of just, tension, stress.
Yes.
And that's evident on like social media and politics.
Yeah.
So the average guy our age is just overwhelmed and washed with all this ideologies and political identity politics. And it gets very nasty real quick. And without any, steady guidance and just rational thinking, it's easy to be swayed and influenced by a lot of the ideas out there.
100%.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's so easy to get off track, and I'll tell you this. Jason had a talk actually once about this. So he's got this book, which I've told you about, Higher Status, right? And one of the honest signals of being a high status person is controlling your emotions. He calls it state control, right? How do you control your state, and how do you reflexively change it quickly? So you can move from, how do you channel your anger and your energy to focus it on your mission and your purpose, and then how can you instantly back off and then put yourself in a happy mood, just for having fun, right? Like just how to change your emotions quick. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he talked about in one of his talks about state control was that you need to always have someone there, and even he admitted this, that he even needs someone to help keep him grounded at times. You always need someone, especially when you're trying to do something big, and inevitably problems will occur, whether it's, you're trying to do something big with your career or purpose in life or whatever, whether it's you're dating a girl, you're going to get shit tested a lot. You need something to help keep you grounded and strong, right? Every now and then, to be immovable, right? And that's a very masculine thing to talk about, but that's why we call it that's why all these people are like guys, right? Jordan Peterson, Chasing Capital, and they're all
it was with that. Isn't that toxic masculinity?
I guess so, man.
According
to the culture today, because you can't express your emotions. But I don't think it's
right.
I don't think it's a bad thing to be stoic. It's a great thing, in fact.
Well,
so
what does that mean to them in general? Just, I guess, being emotionless, being not in touch, I guess.
So I don't think it's okay. So what they frame it as is, it's bad for a man to hold in his emotions and to lock it in.
Okay.
He needs to be able to express these emotions and get them out in a healthy way. That's their argument. But it's a complex idea. First of all, I agree with that idea, but that's not the actual representation that they make when they talk about this. What they want, and this is particularly due to a lot of girls who are ardent feminists, like they're hardcore feminists, let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. When they see a quote unquote alpha male, right, or a guy in their past that they really liked, typically one of the traits that are associated with him is he's almost emotionless, or he's almost let's put it, one of the few emotions that he will show is anger, and anger is pretty much the only one. And if not anger, then it's just stoic, right? He's calm, and it's almost like when she cannot affect him on an emotional level, she gets aroused by that, but she doesn't like that at the same time, because it's like she doesn't know whether he's going to commit to her, So I feel like it was created by this whole feminist thing, thinking that, we can't have this toxic masculinity, people who just don't express their emotions. But the second you express your emotions, guess what? The subconscious brain, which they don't understand, gets triggered to turn off the attraction mechanism, because an emotional guy in the wild is not going to survive as well as a non-emotional and calm and rational guy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So attraction hinges on that. But they don't understand that. And I don't know, just being stoic overall, why would you want to be emotional all over the place when you can properly control your emotions? You know what I mean? Or at least release them in a healthy way.
It's a part of it. That's the idea connected to hypergamy.
Yeah.
On how women are so, I guess, naturally inclined to like that kind of figure.
Yeah.
So a very masculine type of in control individual who wouldn't need to be told how to be a man. That's pretty much an attractive quality.
100%.
But the idea behind the toxic masculinity, I think it is a level of power imbalance that the most feminists just complain about nonstop. So what they do is they view multiple institutions and they say, well, look at this institution, the workplace. Women make less money. They have, they're always treated as, inferior. They don't have a lot of manager positions, and they're just overall have the short end of the stick. They look at academia, and currently now in academia, women lead in a lot of fields in general. So they have a lot of higher positions, a lot more PhDs, a lot more research publishing.
Right.
But go back to the example of academia. They say there's not enough women in STEM. You know, there needs to be more women in these fields. You know, get them in math, get them in science. Doesn't matter. You know, we need more women there. So that's the idea, where they adopt the notion of toxic masculinity. This field has too many men in it. Let's put more women. Institutions like Congress, right, with AOC, she's a prime example of that. You know, we need more women in Congress, and there needs to be a female president. And they always go back to the notion of toxic masculinity. What I think that means is they see power, and they see men in power as corrupt.
Okay.
So they're saying, okay, if there's a man at the top somewhere in some institution, he's corrupt. How else did he get there?
Yeah.
His only way, his only, you know,
possible route
to that position was corruption. He must be evil in some way. We must eradicate that evil and put a moral woman or girl on the stand to make an example of what it's like to be a divine figure.
Damn, the way you put that, I like it. I feel that.
Dude, I thought about this. I'm like, wait, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
Glad that's on camera.
Yeah.
That's what I think in general.
No, I would agree. I would agree to a certain extent, 100%.
Yeah.
So, yes. Do you remember the whole Gillette commercial?
Yes.
About toxic masculinity.
One of our episodes. Right? Go refer to it.
Yes. I think that was the first one, right?
Yeah, it's one of the first ones, actually. Yeah.
I think it was the first one. I think it was literally the first one. We were at your place.
First episode.
Number 1.
So Gillette, yeah.
Where this, you know, where they were talking about, like, or showing that, let's talk about mansplaining, for example.
Mansplaining.
Right?
Manspreading.
if, oh God. You know what, actually, hold on. Pause for a second. I think, not actually like that. I think it's ironic as hell that if you look across the board, women always say men should not be in positions of power, they should not be dominant. There should be equality, correct? But I think it's ironic as hell when you see them, the partners that they pick sexually are typically dominant as fuck. They're so dominant.
Sure.
You know?
Why not, yeah.
And that, I think, is representative of something deeper that they don't understand. Now, when it comes to, I don't want to say I don't want to go back, bring it back to evolution again. That's just the same old argument. But, I mean, you get the point, right? If you look at 50 Shades of Grey, fastest selling paperback of all time.
When it came out, right?
Yeah. The whole thing is about this high status male. He's a billionaire. He's a mystery. And he's dominant as hell in bed. And he's a mystery. Why? Because there's 50 Shades of Grey. Imagine it was called One Shade of Grey. You think 100 million women would have put down money to read the book?
Why one shade? Yeah.
Fuck no. But they did, and he's got 50 shades. Sure. You know, he's a mystery. Yeah. Oh, and he's dominant, right? Anyways, but going back to the whole toxic masculinity thing, I think that is one of those things where, I mean, even mansplaining. What
exactly is that, to be honest? So, the first time I heard of mansplaining was honestly in a comedy show.
Okay.
I think it was like in 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
So they were talking about mansplaining. I'm like, what is mansplaining? Oh my God, it's a real thing. People actually think that's a real concept.
That's a real thing, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Where it's basically like if a woman tries to speak up or say something, the man has to step in and correct her or say something over her. You know, like, remember how in the commercial it was like, she said there's a whole boardroom full of people, and there's one woman in there, all white males. Yeah. Okay. And the woman tries to say something, and the CEO steps in, puts his hand on her shoulder or something like that, and says, "What I actually think she's trying to say is blah 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 blah." And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, dude. first of all, if she made a mistake, she made a mistake. You have to call her out. And it's not necessarily because she's a woman. It's because she's wrong, you know? And if it was because, I think it's wrong to call her out if she's a woman. But is that the only reason you call her out for? Mm-hmm. Or maybe was she actually wrong? You see what I'm saying? What if she is wrong? Then what? What do? You don't call her out because she's a woman?
Right.
I have an example, and Jason Capital has a whole talk on this, right? He mentioned this before, and he was saying how a part of his whole dating program, everything that he teaches, is about teaching men to not take shit from women who are going to walk all over them, sure. Right? And it's essentially how to be the alpha, not the beta, mm-hmm. Right? It's all what essentially his programs will teach you, right? So the idea is, he had one talk where he was talking about, he saw a man and a woman sitting at a table at a restaurant, and this woman was trying to pick an Instagram filter for her photo, and she was just sitting there sliding, on her phone, literally just like, in his face, the phone, for like 10 minutes, and the guy was just sitting there doing nothing, not on his phone either.
Sure.
He's just sitting there, he's like waiting. Right? And obviously, internally, he's pissed off because it's like, you don't shove your phone in someone's face for 10 minutes while you're with them. It's just poor etiquette. It's not proper behavior. Now, unless there was some sort of emergency or something like that, take it to the side, but don't just sit there on Instagram doing something unimportant and wait for the guy to just take it. If he takes it, that's his fault too, by the way. Because he's doing her a huge disservice by teaching her that it's okay to be a poor human being with poor etiquette,
sure,
and social behavior, right? But, okay, that's one example he gave in that talk. Another example was Nick Young and, what was her name?
With Nick Young?
Nicki Minaj and someone something, I don't know. Nicki Minaj, I think
Cardi
it was.
B?
Cardi B,
Okay.
and Nick Young. Cardi B, it might have been Cardi B, I don't even know. Someone like that. Said something about, I will cut off your dick.
That was Cardi B.
It was Cardi B?
That was Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B. She said, I will cut off your dick. In public, she said this to whatever, I think it was Nick Young. He said, Jason was talking about it in this chat, in this little talk, imagine it was the other way around. I will cut off your clitoris.
I don't know.
Outrage. Outrage. It's like, what? Dude, like, it's such a double standard. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say. I really don't know. It's a...
Well, a lot of it's a paradox, and a lot of it is just...
Exactly that.
It's very confusing at times. In this kind of culture nowadays, we live in a time where diversity is very... a big collector of social points. What I mean by that is a lot of people tend to raise the flag of diversity to seem more divine, to seem more moral, as if they want, I think they do honestly want more equality. They want something of a better system for all people, whether it be race, socioeconomic level, physical ability, whatnot, trans people, sexual orientation. We have so many different divisions and orientations and different categories for different people,
right,
that they want to allow everybody into the same playing field. No one should be allowed outside of the playground. Everyone deserves to be on the playground. So with that kind of mindset, they go a little overboard, in my opinion, where they decide to demolish the hierarchy itself and the system itself. And by doing this, they tend to point out institutions with the most corruption, so-called corruption.
Yeah.
So they point to the police departments. They say, well, corruption is always going to exist in the police department. They're going to be racist towards black individuals. They're going to be racist towards Hispanic individuals. They're going to look at other institutions and see where there's unfair or there's imbalance in between powers, I suppose. And they want to fix it all. So, where was I going with this? The whole idea of diversity. They think with diversity, that's all going to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have more black cops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's not going to be a lot of officers discriminating toward black individuals.
Mm-hmm.
How do we stop, imbalance in the workplace? Well, we need more women in power.
Right.
So they can understand the workers' struggles, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
and build a more friendly dynamic.
Right.
So I think that's their goal, and that's their plan to justice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could work, maybe not. But on that road to their justice, they're causing more problems than fixing them.
Right.
That's what I think. So they're playing these identity politics to the max. And they honestly think that's the answer most of the time. So is it a bad thing? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Identity politics overall. Does the president have to be female? Does it matter? So they're so caught up in titles and labels in general. Like every now and then on social media, especially with the James Charles scandal, it's like you have to know everything about them.
Right.
It's like, are you gay? Who do you have sex with? Okay, what race do you identify yourself as? Are you trans? It's just all these labels, and every single type of label, they're like how you could become a protected class. You know what I mean? I think that's the overall goal, is to become a protected class. So trans people, gay individuals.
Right.
If you're a minority, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, I suppose, or black, this is gonna die out, in my opinion, soon.
Really?
People are sick and tired of it.
Oh yeah. For the most part, so what I think it is I think most of it will die out, but I think there's always going to be those radical individuals who are like kind of rationalize it in some way and find some way to talk about it. And find some way to blame it. But I think overall, the majority of people are starting to now see like that this is all BS, or a lot of it is BS, right? I think partially that's due to podcasting and things like that. But
I think the way we came to that conclusion was through a lot of rational thinking and a lot of referring to, role models in general. So like Jordan Peterson, Jason Capital. A lot of other individuals who really thought about this and drew a conclusion based on, the evidence. And, Jordan Peterson always talks about, the left and how their whole goal seems to be very, very chaotic in a sense.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So there's this whole idea where you have the left and the right, okay? And if you go to the extreme ends of any single one of those, you run into identity politics on both sides, right? We see examples of this, for example, in Nazi Germany. They went way too far to the right, where they were like white supremacy, right? We got, these Jews, we got to get them out, we got to separate these classes, we got to exterminate these germs, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's the right-wing identity politics. And then nowadays we have left-wing, more so left-wing politics, identity politics. But there were also left-wing identity politics in Russia, in the Soviet Union. But it was a left-wing. Sure. Because of the financial hierarchies. Remember we talked about the kulaks and everything like that. They were an oppressive class, had to wipe them all out, and then most of these people starved. Right, in whatever it was. But now, usually the spectrum goes from no government to total government control. And you have left-wing identity politics and right-wing identity politics on the right end of the spectrum for government versus no government. So to enforce any of those things, right-wing or left-wing identity politics, you need a big government, or equality, let's put it that way, or inequality. So to produce mass inequality, which is the right-wing identity politics between the races, which is white supremacy, right? For example, you have to have massive government control, fascism, and all this kind of stuff to implement that. If you have left-wing, which is to totally diminish this equality down to zero, which is like communism, like in the Soviet Union, you still need big government control to enforce that. But when you have a free society, which is when you move on to this end of the spectrum of no government, that's when things start to open up and balance out into, let's put it, a proper hierarchy, at least somewhat, with some forms of regulation here and there. You need a little bit of government control. You can't have a completely free society of government control because government provides things like the police force, firefighters, education, whatever, many things. So I think it's really interesting that most people always talk about right and left when the actual political spectrum ranges from no government to total government power. And you can also arrange the left and right wing on that spectrum as well. So government can get really kind of complicated at that point.
There's a lot of disagreements overall.
Yeah.
There are some agreements that everyone could agree to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We're somewhat socialist in respect to we believe there should be a fire department. We believe there should be a police department that should provide services to everybody. We believe in healthcare in a way. But, it's very individualistic and capitalist in this kind of country. But we go to the extent that everyone deserves rights and we have a representative republic as our government. Yeah. So it's not pure democracy.
Right.
I mean, our votes don't really matter in this state. We're, Republican.
Yeah.
I guess we're categorized as that.
Yeah.
So if we voted for the Republican governor when Gavin was running for governor.
Gavin Newsom. Yeah.
Gavin Newsom. So he won, right?
Yeah. What wouldn't have mattered?
The political shift in this kind of state is so strong because you have cities like San Francisco and LA really driving the political power in this state in general. And, it's interesting. And I think this is important what we're doing here is we're recording ourselves what it's like to essentially grow up and to live through this kind of state as it changes. Because it's hugely dynamic.
Yeah.
And, us being different types of thinkers.
Yeah.
Where, we've kind of made a conclusion where most of the social media is bullshit and all this political outrage really means something else in terms of the American society and culture. So I guess there's just more to report.
Yeah.
After this.
Seriously.
So I look forward to that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And do you want to add anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, this is, I guess, our first episode.
Yes.
Or maybe the second. But we've been doing podcasting all day. We're going to call it a day, actually.
Yeah.
And thanks for tuning in.
Cool. See ya.
See ya.